Hey, what's up, Scorpio? I screwed up on recording this audio during this reading, so I'm doing a quick conclusion video to wrap it up, as to not let it go to waste. It was an interesting reading. So, to start off this reading, you had the Two of Pentacles drop in the center, in the upright. A very good sign of being able to achieve and maintain some internal stability and balance, which is something that is required to bring your greater energies into union. When this card is in the reverse, it is a sign of lacking in that balance, and it can lead to certain tribulations. So it's a good sign for your core energy that you got the Two of Pentacles in the upright. The first clarifier, however, on this card wound up being the Four of Swords in reverse. In the reverse, that card can signify being a little bit stagnant, a little bit insecure, having a little bit of fear of moving forward, to a certain extent, maybe over analyzing the path forward, fretting over making the exact right decision. So in this instance, that is not exactly a balance of your Two of Pentacles energy, but as the energy evolves, it looks like you pull up, which is part of why I think this Two of Discs energy is there. To continue clarifying this Four of Swords reversed, we started off with the King of Wands reversed. That's a perfect match for this Four of Swords energy. The King of Wands in the upright, they're very naturally can take action. They're very action oriented. They sometimes can take action just for action's sake. It's very much about being proactive. When they are stuck in this Four of Swords reversed energy, it's a very good way for them to get stuck in their own reverse energy as well. Because when they aren't taking the action like this, when they are over analyzing the situation, the King of Wands can find themselves out of their element. So a very interesting match in that regard. To further clarify that, you got the Seven of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Swords typically is a sign of indirect action, which can be very endearing. However, with this surrounding energy, the reverse Seven of Swords leads me to believe that the King of Wands and their insecurity, and whatever this insecure energy is, they're trying to cut some corners. They're hoping that they could cut corners to sort of rectify the situation, but this is suggesting that that is not the case, that it's going to sort of blow up in the King of Wands' face. Seven of Swords reversed is not a good sign of succeeding in the indirect action. So whatever this King of Wands is trying to achieve by taking this very indirect approach and maybe overanalyzing the situation is not going to pan out. And to complete the clarification of the Four of Swords reversed, you got the Judgment card in the upright. So that's a very interesting clarifier here, that even though it's disappointing that this insecure energy is in place, and even though the King of Wands might think they're coming from a good place and trying to match up this energy like this, once it all kind of falls apart to a certain extent, the universe isn't going to be sitting there boo-hooing you. The universe is just going to be sitting there like, well, that's naturally what's going to happen when you are stuck in these energies. So very interesting how these three insecure cards are clarified by the Judgment card, because it's just an interesting sign that when you're in this energy and acting this way and decisively like this, of course, it's going to kind of unravel. And the Judgment card's saying that's just natural. That's naturally what's going to happen. So it's not sitting here trying to say that you are righteous for having this situation. It's just saying that you are very naturally, this is the momentum that's going to build up to this sort of defeat to a certain extent. So that's very interesting. So second clarifier for Two of Pentacles wound up being the Three of Swords. That is part of how you get over this insecurity. If you let the insecurity rule you, you are going to keep running into these same issues, and that's going to stunt your growth, and it's going to stunt your internal harmony. So the sign that's coming up here is the way to deal with that is you've got to conquer your fears, and you've got to re-engage the proactive achievements that actually got you to being the King of Wands or achieving King of Wands energy. If you do not conquer your fears like that, you're going to be stuck in this insecure energy, and it is not going to serve you. Clarifying the Three of Swords, you wind up getting the Queen of Pentacles, the Sun in reverse, and the Six of Wands, which is, it's very tricky because the Sun card in the reverse is there. And to get over your fear, you really need the Sun energy in the upright. So by finding the Sun in reverse, that leads me back to these insecurities. When your internal optimism is out of place, when you aren't finding the bright side, when you aren't achieving the sort of brightest mentalism possible, that's part of why you're stuck in this energy over here. And it's a good sign that you're failing on this retrospection of the Four of Swords, and you're losing it in some forward progress and thinking forward clearly. So the Sun energy over here in reverse is muddling into this energy. So what I'm taking from that is that part of what you do to ground that is you've got to embrace some Queen of Pentacles energy and some Six of Wands energy. You've got to have some hope for success, feeling what that's like. It's very cliche sounding, but like law of attraction-esque, where you like embody what it feels like to achieve victory like that, to take the action necessary to achieve victory, is a part of how you change the Sun in reverse energy. The other side of this is the Queen of Pentacles, which is quite disconnected from the King of Wands. They're on basically completely opposite sides of the spectrum. The King of Wands is extremely dense, mental, masculine energy, whereas the Queen of Pentacles is extremely dense, feminine energy. So a completely different approach to how you ground this energy. And if you can achieve that sort of groundedness, that's part of how you're going to conquer your fears that are holding you back in this insecure energy. And that's how you can re-embrace the bright internal quality of the Sun in the upright and not be stuck in the Sun in reverse energy. And another piece of that, of course, once again comes back to this internal harmony of the Two of Pentacles. So it's another way that you sort of deal with this is by finding a way to pull together your head and your heart and to get them on the same page as they're supposed to be, which is something that I get in a lot of my readings where people are missing that. They're very often like overemphasizing mentalism, or they're overemphasizing emotionality. The true state of being is having them on the same page, harmonized, blended together properly. And if you don't, that's where you run into these insecure issues. So, very interesting core energy for this reading. The final clarifier on the core energy was the Nine of Wands. That is a card of personal strength, of achieved personal strength. You have managed to succeed in achieving all the way up to 9 wands in this situation, and that is a sign of great quality. And you aren't even drudging the activity necessary. Some people get this card in the reverse, and that's a good sign that they're stalled and they're stagnant on the effort it takes to get here. In this energy, you're embracing that. You're embracing what it took to get here, you're embracing what it takes to sustain it. And it's a good sign that you're evolving out of this insecure energy, because if you're in this insecure energy, it's very hard to reach this, or even if you do, you're flipped on the energy and you're stuck in insecurity about it. So a very good sign here of your evolution. It's very good to see. Clarifying the Nine of Wands, we even have the Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, and the Queen of Swords all in the upright. Very good. It's a very good turnaround. When you are stabilized properly in your energy, and when you've overcome this insecurity, when you've overcome these fears, you can embrace fate's inspirations even better. And when you can do that, when you can act at the right times, when fate has deemed it as time for you, that is another way that you achieve this strength. So once again, it's a good sign here that you're overcoming this initial insecurity in the reading. Following that up, of course, we have the Hermit in the upright, which is another sign of sort of the same thing. When you can go inside of yourself and take up that Hermit energy properly, that is how you can listen to the proper inspirations from fate to achieve this success and to achieve this personal strength. Another thing that kind of came out here was that sometimes with this King of Wands energy in the reverse, if it's very insecure and out of action, a very easy thing to say to rectify that is to just take action. However, if that action is very reckless, it can kind of lead to the same problem. So part of what the Hermit is suggesting is, even though you need to take more action and not get stuck in this insecurity, it is very important that you don't just flip all the way to the other side of the spectrum and just start taking completely reckless and random action for the sake of taking action. It is a sign of taking action, but you still need to make sure that you're embracing the proper inspirations to actually achieve victory. It's definitely a sign to not just be very reckless in whatever action you take. And to wrap it up, we have the Queen of Swords in the upright. It's another sign of sort of mind over heart, which is another way that you would conquer these fears that are getting you trapped in this insecure energy. And we also have balancing out the Queen of Pentacles on this other side. So like, it's a very good balance achieved per your core energy here of sort of mind and heart, of grounding yourself both mentally and emotionally. So it's not Queen of Cups or anything, but it's still in that same vein. So very interesting energy for sure, Scorpio. It looks like you have the potential here to get out of this insecure energy. And it looks like you have the ability to balance yourself out properly and harmonize within yourself properly to actually take up fate's inspirations for you to actually achieve the personal strength that you either desire or you need. So very good reading. It's very good how it showed some tribulation, but then you grow out of it, and then you really grow out of it at the end. So very good to see. I'm very glad that you were here to take a look at this reading. I'm sorry that the audio cut out to where I couldn't show the cards dropping, but I had a little bit of a mic issue, and I forgot to do a sound test to make sure it was working. It wasn't, so it wound up working, though. I was able to just use the cards, and I was able to do this conclusion. So thank you very much for being here, Scorpio. Take care, and good luck.